Hey, 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 happy day. All work and no play makes you a dull buddy instead of a dull boy. All work and no play makes Jack an alcoholic who believed that all I needed to do was work, 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 work until I realized that that was very bad for me. It was bad for my relationships. It was bad for my health. It was actually bad for my business because if I wasn't showing up 100% because my battery was recharged and I had energy to put forth the effort and the work that's always required in building a business, that business struggles. If we're challenged and struggling in any areas or aspects of our life, guess what? Our business is as well. Because as much as we try to separate church and state, as much as we try to separate our personal lives and business, guess what? It's impossible because wherever we go, there we are. We're human beings and we bring with us whatever's going on with us. For a long time, I thought that I could hustle through everything. And there's a lot of belief, especially online, and a lot of nonsense and talk about you gotta hustle, hustle. Well, not even just online, offline and online in corporate America throughout the entire world. We need to hustle, hustle and grind. We need to work. We need to sacrifice. We need to work all the time. You need to be willing to do whatever it takes, meaning the corporate owner or the corporate entity thinks that you should work 80, 90, 100 hours a week. You should be devoted 100% to your job or your work or your company or your corporation. And that is just not humanly possible. You can do it for short bursts of time, but you cannot maintain it over the long run. Over the long run, it's not feasible or possible. It burns people out and you end up losing great assets, great human resources in yourself and in other people as well. So how do we deal with this in our companies? Now, this is one of those expressions that they're not sure where it came from, but it's been around since it was first recorded in like 1659. So we're talking hundreds of years. People have talked about work, and all work and no play makes somebody dull. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's not healthy. I found that out firsthand. It's not healthy, literally physically healthy, to work all the time. So often this expression is used as a way to admonish people and get them to stop working all the time, stop working so hard, to go home and take a break, or as an excuse to ourselves, to give ourselves permission to cut some slack and take a break and do something different. But how do we build this belief and this culture and this thought into our organization, into our culture, so that people know that it's not only all right, but it's good to take a break, recharge your batteries, and come back fresh? It's always easier to solve a problem after you've had a little change in your activity or a break than to just power through and try to come up with solutions to a problem. I've seen this so many times. Have you ever slept on a problem? You've got a problem, you've worried about it all day, and you just decide, okay, I need to go to sleep, I need to sleep on this and rest, and then you wake up in the morning with the perfect solution to the problem that you couldn't for the life you come up with a solution for the previous day. So how do we build? What are some ways that we can make sure that, of course, work requires our highest level of energy and effort, right? If we're going to do our best work, we need to be refreshed and recharged and rested so that we can bring all of our energy and all of our effort to the situation. So we need to remember to take breaks. We need to actually, and this is what helped me with this, to become a reformed workaholic, I actually schedule in breaks. I schedule in time to do things that I know are good for me, to go for a walk, to eat lunch, to have a cup of coffee break, to take breaks in between calls and coaching sessions, to take breaks in between meetings. In corporate America, I would schedule in team building events. We would always just get away from work, even if it meant just going to a park nearby. Depending on what your budget is, you do what you can with what you've got right now. But it's kind of like charitable giving. If you don't start now and giving what you can, if you don't start building rest time and recharging your batteries and relaxation and vacations and celebrations and team building into your culture now, and you say, oh, we'll do it next year when we have more money, or we'll do it next when we land this big customer. It's like anything else that we postpone and put off. We actually never get around to doing it because it really shows our lack of commitment to it. If we're not committed to doing it now when it's small and easier, we're definitely not going to do it later as our business gets bigger and more complicated and impacts more people. We'll forget to do it. One of the things I used to do in corporate America, and I would do what I could with what I had, right? I would do little things. When I had a huge staff, a really big staff, and a lot of people that I was responsible for that I couldn't possibly talk to every day and interact with on a regular basis, I was scheduled weekly lunches, and every week I would meet with a group of different people just to get to know them and find out what they thought, what was going on, what was working, what wasn't working, what they like to do to relax and enjoy the business and the company more. We'd bring in lunch for everybody and we'd have a nice lunch. It wasn't awesome, it wasn't great, it wasn't true relaxation because we were still at work, but it gave us an opportunity to take a break during the day and change what we were doing, what we were focusing on, what we were thinking on, instead of just our job, to just some camaraderie and some teamwork and getting to know one another and what made one another tick. You have to schedule in, those team building sessions, those one-on-one meetings with the people that report to you. You have to get to know them and build relationships with them in order to work better together. We can work with anyone on the planet for the most part when we find common ground with people. We've all had people that we consider difficult people, and usually they're people that are a lot like us. We consider them difficult because other people find us difficult too. But there's always a common ground to be found if you're willing to look for the common ground and look for win-win solutions in any organization or between organizations. So you have to figure those things out. So schedule things in, make sure that you do what you can with what you've got right now. Start now. Don't make excuses. It's easy to make excuses that I have to power through this. I have to keep working. I have to get this done. And it doesn't mean we don't meet our commitments to ourselves. We absolutely positively always do what we say we're going to do, but we also have to commit to ourselves to schedule in the breaks and the fun and the adventures and the things that all of us need to keep us going. So that's our idiom for today. I would love to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dull you think you are. Now, COVID, I think, has bumped up all of our dull quotient. But if 10 is duller than dirt, dull as a doorknob, dull is the most dull thing you can imagine, that would be that end of the scale. Not dull, if you're super fun, super adventurous, super whatever is the opposite of dull to you, that would be a 1. So share in the comments below, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dull you think you are. Right now, I think I'm like an 8 or a 9. I could even be eking up on some days to maximum dullness. And so I want to make sure that I'm continuing to schedule in fun and breaks and creating a business that supports me and the type of culture that I want to create. And then we just start where we are, and then we continuously improve on that. That's how we make sure that we include fun and celebrations and team building and relationships and everything that we need to really supersize and grow our businesses into them. Have an awesome day. Love to know your thoughts on this. I'll be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business right now?